This top-class bronze artwork has been cast here in Ireland at the Dublin Art Foundry. Tucked away in a secluded nook close by the old Boland's Mill, the foundry has been run as a workers' cooperative since 1984. It provides a unique service where artists can come in and watch their models at various stages in the casting process. Bronze art founding is an ancient and painstaking skill. Wax moulding is still the most popular method for casting finely detailed bronze, and this is where the whole process begins.
This head of George Bernard Shaw by Marjorie Fitzgibbon was brought in clay to be cast in bronze. Now it goes through various stages while it's in here, 5 stages. First stage is to make a rubber mould of it, which is this mould here. The mould is then opened up and wax is painted in on top of it to the desired thickness. The thickness will be the same thickness as the bronze in the finished piece. It's cleaned up, the 2 sides are put together, and it's filled up with an extra layer of wax which seals it up and strengthens it and also adds a little bit more thickness onto it. Mould is then taken off and you've got an exact replica of the original in wax, which the artist usually comes in and looks at. They can come in and they can do...
they want to make alterations.
They can do any work on it. They can sharpen it up or they can just give it the go-ahead.
Edwin is currently working on a bust of Charles Stuart Parnell, which has been commissioned by the House of Commons in London. The artist Jan Goulet has dropped in to see how it's going.
When the wax is completed there, and I come back and I check the wax to make sure that everything is all right, and if necessary I will work on the wax and improve the wax. But I don't think with the knowledge of that man there, I don't think that that will be necessary.
Well, that'll be straight into the investment then.
That's right, yes.
The waxing on these models is complete and they'll be covered with a heat-resistant mix of old moulds and plaster before being fired in the kiln. This is the casting area. Some moulds have already been baked in the kiln earlier and the wax has been burnt out. The new impressions have been filled with molten bronze and now they're cooling off in a sand pit.
Burying them in sand prevents them from possibly bursting under the pressure of the hot metal being poured in. And here we've got an array of things. We've hands and footballers and heads and everything.
They don't look very much like that at the moment.
But they are, and they'll be taken out and broken out of the moulds next, and hopefully all perfect.
Close by, a furnace has been on for several hours and the baked models are now ready to be taken out and poured. But this time, the method of casting is not wax moulding, it's sand casting. The pieces being taken out of the crucible are plaques, and sand casting is suitable for simple flat or semi-flat surfaces that don't require fine attention to detail. Speed and efficiency are vital when pouring the molten bronze because the temperature of the metal is crucial. Meanwhile, one of the wax moulds has been taken out of the sandpit where it's been cooling for a day or so. It's hacked open and the model is taken out. At first glance, it's difficult to discern what it is. But when the excess debris is brushed away with a wire brush, the face of a young girl begins to emerge. Now it's ready to be taken to the chasing area. This is where the artist steps in to exercise his or her craft once the casting has been made. They chip away using a wide variety of tools until the item has been chased to a perfect finish. This bust is a full day's chipping. Sculptor Marjorie Fitzgibbon was commissioned to do 9 of these works for a company who manufacture electronic aids for the physically handicapped. This one is completely finished. The laughing girl was created to symbolize the spirit of liberation. Michael Warren is one of Ireland's most successful sculptors. Samples of his work are on display all over the world. This granite sculpture, situated in front of the radio centre in RTE, symbolises the expansion of broadcasting services. Michael has always been partial to bronze and he has work made in the Dublin Art Foundry regularly. This model, which has been sandcast from timber, is undergoing the final patination process. Michael liaises with co-op worker Les Manning, who uses a propane torch and various chemicals to lighten and darken the colour here and there. Well, Michael, are you pleased with the end result?
Oh, I am pleased, yes. No, they've done Trojan work, and they've had to do it fairly rapidly too. They've only had something over a month on this, and we've done something a little bit unusual. We've cast directly from timber. Normally I leave in work in plaster for bronze casting, and we've also used a patina which sort of tells the story that it did come from timber originally.
So the timber is still coming through.
Yeah, but it's got, you know, a little bit of the glow and warmth of the bronze as well. You can see it just coming through the patina. It's not a heavy patina. I like that very much. Les done a good job.
Bronze artwork is becoming increasingly popular, and Dublin Art Foundry is at last being recognised for the quality of casting being made there.
Last year we had a fairly bad year work-wise, and we decided that we would try and market sculpture ourselves by opening a gallery in the foundry. And we've certainly had an increase in work this year from it, and we've had quite a few sales in the gallery. And we're pushing fairly hard to make bronze more popular and not to seem too elitist.
Do you take on the work of emerging artists here as well as established ones?
We do, yeah. One of the good things about the Foundry Gallery is that we give emerging artists a chance to be seen by the public, because it can be quite difficult for them to get into an established gallery. So the public can see emerging artists here, as well as, of course, the very established artists, such as Maura Early and John Bean and Marty Fitzgibbon and people like that.
So overall, you're very pleased with the way things are going at the moment for the Foundry?
We are, yeah. We think we're on the right lines in trying to make bronze more popular.